What's up, guys? This is the Red Politician, and this video is going to be talking about the Democrats Autopsy Report. And the DNC chair, when he was put in, I believe late December of 24 or sometime in early 25 last year, he says, "Oh, we're going to release the full autopsy." Then he didn't. He was like wishy-washy. He said, "Oh, his excuse was." It's not needed right now because we're winning these special elections. It'll be a distraction. Then he said it's a distraction for not releasing it. Then he released it. And the autopsy report was not good. It was pretty bad. And there were some, like, in the autopsy, like, it kind of showed that they were starting to understand it a little bit. They started to get it, but they just quickly drowned it out with this Blumph, Donald, Orange Man bad nonsense, kept on crying about J6, and they just kept on just kind of getting distracted by things that really don't matter. I mean, that's just the reality. And these apparently were like the main bullet points. I skimmed through the autopsy. It's 200 pages. It's pretty big, but I got, I would say, around 40 to 50 pages skimming through it. And what I've seen, it's just bad. It is not good. As you can see, these bullet points, there's nothing about immigration. I'm sure that's one of the things you realize. There's very little to nothing about immigration. Um, and that is a disaster because immigration was by far the most important issue in 2024, or the second most important, right behind the economy. The economy and immigration were by far the most important issues. And even then, in these bullet points, they said like the economy was a problem, and it should just destroy away from identity politics into a middle class appeal. So like kind of like a Obama, Bill Clinton style of messaging. Well, here's the problem: identity politics and just wokeness is basically it's just impossible to get rid of. It's basically a cancer in their party, a tumor that keeps on growing and growing ever since the 2024 election. They have gone more woke. They have gone more far to the left. Identity politics and race basically runs their party. I mean, John Doyle put it at best. Their party is basically ran on Trump bad and gay race mixed communism. Like it's basically what it is. Like at this point, and open borders, pro third world. This extremely sympathetic to the third world, and America is bad because it caused the third world or whatever. Like these people are mentally ill, and this is why when they say, stray away from identity politics, that's not going to happen. Because again, they're electing very far left woke people into their party. That's not going anywhere. And again, yeah, Republicans are just better at politics. I mean, you could take that as you will, because Senate Republicans right now are acting like absolute clowns. But these would have came to campaigning and election issue. Like, sure, you can argue that. Um, you know, again, like they said, like Biden just did not help Harris enough. It's like, okay, it would probably be better for him not to be attached to the Kamala Harris more than she is, because again, she's VP to Biden. Like Biden would, if he was out there, probably would just make everything worse. And a failure to define Trump. Okay, this is probably the most laughable, because at least when it came to like economics, like they tried to do something, but failure to define Trump. They have been going after this guy for well over 10 years. And if you go back to the 2024 campaign trail, because like August, September, it was like dragging along, but she was, I don't even really say campaigning, but it was there. But like October, the final month before the election, is all they were doing. They had like Kamala Harris was literally running on Orange Man bad, Blumph bad, and empty like platitudes, like empty economic platitudes, and pretending to be tough on the border. Like those are like, and running on democracy and abortion. Like those are like the 4 to 5 things that she was running on. That's it. In the most, and out of that five, those 4 to 5 things, 80% of it was Blumph bad. So again, this whole thing, that failure to define Trump, it's like, how You guys have thrown everything in the world at this guy, and it just did not stick. So, yeah, I mean, it's absolute copium. They're absolute copium. But another thing is, too, is fundraising. The Democrats are in the gutter. The Republicans, RNC, the Republican National Committee, has 124 million dollars with zero debt. Democrats are at not even at 15 million, and they're 17.5 million dollars in debt. That is awful, and a lot of that is obviously from 2024 Kamala Harris's run, where she blew $2 billion with a B, by the way, in 3.5 months. I don't know how that's possible, but she did it. And also the Virginia race, where they spent anywhere with the whole redistricting thing. With it was blatantly unconstitutional by the state constitution. The state Supreme Court threw it out, and the Democrats started throwing a hissy fit. It's hilarious. Their egregious 10-1 map was thrown out, but Democrats spent a minimum of $70 million minimum, upwards of possibly upwards to $100 million. So that $17.5 million in debt, a decent chunk of that probably came from that Virginia. So yeah, absolutely brutal. If you look at all the super PACs, all the Republican super PACs and all the Democrat super PACs, Republicans, I believe, cash have. Oh, sorry for that noise right there. They have around, I believe, $800 million, damn near $1 billion. Democrats, if you take into account the debt they have accumulated, they have around $200 million. So yeah, not looking so hot. Very rough. And again, if you include Donald Trump's super PACs on top of the Republican super PACs, Republicans almost have $2 billion with a B, because Donald Trump himself has like not 2 billion, but $1 billion with their super PAC. So it's very suspicious that when Democrats, act blue, gets criminally investigated, and the USAID gets gutted and shut down, Democrats start struggling with money. Take that as you will, but yeah, very brutal. And the Democrats are broke and they're unpopular. And this is another thing, they're very unpopular. Quinnipiac, and this is a recent poll for like a week ago, a little bit less than a week ago. Quinnipiac, sorry, it's late, guys. I'm tired, but Quinnipiac is a very left-leaning poll. It is not friendly to conservatives. And if you go back for the past, like, I would say 6 to 8 months, Quinnipiac has been showing consistently that Democrats are around 20 to 25% approval rating. If you go back like 4 to 6 months, Quinnipiac polls in terms of Democrat Party approval rating, they are consistently showing Democrats in the 20s. And all the talk that Democrats are saying that Donald Trump's unpopular, like Trump on a bad day is like 40% approval rating on a bad day. Like Donald Trump's approval rating is like Donald Trump's approval is like 2 times more popular by his approval rating than the Democrats are. That is awful. That is awful. Again, like these are abysmal numbers. Like these numbers are like 2007 George W. Bush, like unpopular wartime economic recession looming president numbers. Like these numbers are just in the gutter. And there's another Quinnipiac poll that showed that Democrats' approval rating amongst men is like 18% and like 80, like almost 80% disapproval. I mean, they're unpopular amongst men for good reason, obviously. But just overall, their approval ratings is in the gutter. And Trump's approval rating on an awful day is like 40%. But Democrats' approval rating on a good day is like in the upper 20s. So yeah, like definitely not looking so good on that note. So Democrats, they're broke. And again, heading into 2026, again, I think Democrats in 2026, they'll probably barely retake the House. They might take North Carolina's Senate seat, but they're probably gonna have a House majority of like 225 to maybe 230 House seats at most. So definitely, I would say a really big blue wave. And again, I think Democrats. I mean, I think heading into 2028, they're going to have the same problems they had in 2024. They're not changing. If anything, they're getting worse. And again, I believe another bullet point that wasn't in here in the autopsy report, they said they're going to try to capitalize on like unpopular incumbent um presidency, like like incumbent unpopularity, which meaning is, oh, Donald Trump's gonna be so unpopular in 2028, guaranteed that we can just stroll right in and win in 2028, almost guaranteed. And even in the midterms in 2026, which I just discussed, how Democrats are barely going to flip the House and maybe flip a Senate seat or two, maybe. It's not a sure thing. And again, and let alone 2028 going their way. We'll quickly fill out the map here in a second, but again, it's like they think, again, and they use like 2020 as an example. It's like, okay, you had a blue wave in 2018, but it took like like uneasiness in the economy and a worldwide pandemic, and basically everything in the world to go against Donald Trump, and even then you barely won the presidency. The presidency was decided by 3 states by 40,000 plus votes. You had Pennsylvania is basically like 130,000 raw votes between 3 to 4 states, and you had a 50-50 Senate and literally a 223 House seat majority in 2020. So, like, if you think you could just stroll right in because Blumph is unpopular, you have another thing coming. And again, like, Republicans, if the economy is somewhat decent by 2028, and Trump's approval rating on average is like 45 to 46%, you're not going to win the presidency. If anything, I think Republicans are still favored because the Democrat candidates are so awful. Like AOC, Kamala Harris, especially, and like Gavin Newsom, like those are your three front runners. They're all terrible. So we'll fill out the map. What's most likely going to happen in that scenario where the economy is somewhat decent and Donald Trump's approval rating on a bad day is like 45%. So we'll quickly fill out the map, and already Arizona and North Carolina out the gate, in Nevada are likely to go Republican. They're not guaranteed, but Arizona and North Carolina, especially with the voter registration data trends, I think out the gate are probably going to be like 90% chance is going to go to like Vance and a Rubio ticket. Hopefully that's a Vance Rubio ticket in 28, but out the gate, 246, and yeah, Nevada 230, 52. And again, it's like they're not guaranteed, but they're very likely to. And again, as you can see, it's basically the main big seven. Well, actually, I think New Hampshire will be a swing state in 2028. The state's been quietly shifting to the right in terms of voter registration data. And honestly, if Trump spent more time here, he probably could have flipped it, to be honest, narrowly. But as you can see, like Republicans, I think this is probably the electoral college map in 2028 if this scenario plays out. Like PA, Georgia will leave as like tilt. But as you can see, like Republicans are probably going to sweep the big seven or big eight swing states. Like, again, Democrats, they just haven't learned anything. They just haven't learned anything, which again is good for us. It's easier for us to win. But it's the autopsy report, it's like they kind of learned, but they didn't. And when there's like kernels of truth of them possibly learning, such as this one right here, drifting away from identity politics, their party is built on Blumph bad and just woke. Like, you can't get rid of woke. Like, you're going to have to completely tear down your party for that to happen. And we understand that's not going to happen because the woke inmates, are running the prison. Like, they're just driving the establishment out. All the old guard Democrats are slowly drifting off or, assimilating even. And again, you're probably, and again, the 2020, this is probably be the 2028 result. To be honest with you, truly. And again, if they pick like an abysmal candidate like AOC against Vance and Rubio, and the economy's pretty solid, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this is the electoral college map. Like, I really wouldn't be surprised if this is the electoral college map in 2028 against Vance and Rubio against like an AOC type of candidate. Like, this would probably be the map you know, if that's the candidate. I mean, seriously. Some people might call me delusional, but it's like the Democrat Party is just in the gutter. And again, Republicans, they don't do so well this midterm, that is not derivative of 2028. And God forbid if Republicans overperform and the Democrats get shellacked, it's going to be a rough time for 2028. And honestly, they might just go full insane far left because, oh, the establishment Democrats failed us. So we need to go more far to the left. It's going to be rough, guys. So, anyways, guys, this is the True Red Politician. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please turn on notifications to see more videos because I do upload decently, frequently as possible. I try to get a video out at least every day or two. So, please like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys next time. Later.